Hi, good morning, all of you. So, in the previous classes, we completed about our electromagnetism, and we discussed about applications of the Ampere's law, and that before that we discussed about applications of this Biot-Savart's law, right? So now in this topic, now today we are going to discuss about electromagnetic induction. So this electromagnetic induction means then previously we discussed like by using the current carrying conductors or producing the magnetic field, right? So that means that was discovered by the Oersted, and we discussed all the story there. That means the current carrying conductor, they can produce a magnetic field, and actually that is a source of magnetism there. So the moving charged particles, actually the source of magnetic field is nothing but the moving charged particles will produce the magnetic field, and from that we concluded that current carrying conductors, which is nothing but the flow of charges, will produce a magnetic field, right? And now the thought was why the converse effect is not possible. So the scientists start studying that converse effect. The converse effect means when moving charges are producing the magnetic field, from magnetic field why can't we produce the electric field, or why can't we produce the EMF, right? And so then such a study was done, and finally they found that that is possible there, and that Faraday proposed that laws related to that, right? So that means by changing that magnetic field also we can produce a current, electric current, because the electric current is producing the magnetic field. Now the converse is also possible, that by changing the magnetic field we can produce a current also, right? So now we are going to discuss in this topic about those things here. So that means by changing the magnetic field we can produce the EMF, and thereby we can produce a current in that circuits, right? And so now that is nothing but, before going to this, we need to learn about this magnetic flux. So now let us see this magnetic flux here. So magnetic flux you may represent with the phi b, because we already learned about this electric flux, right, in electrostatics and in the Gauss law topic. And now this magnetic field is nothing but, that means now electric flux is nothing but the number of, we define like the number of lines of force passing through that number of electric field lines passing through the given area normal to it, right? So that we defined it as electric flux. Now in a similar way we define this magnetic flux also. Those definitions are similar here. So now suppose if there is some area, if you are taking in a magnetic field, suppose if you are taking some surface here. Now in this I am taking this small element here, small elemental area, let us consider here. Now this area of this element is, suppose say dA is along this direction and B bar is along this direction here in that region. So that the theta is the angle between them. Now the magnetic flux is actually defined as the magnetic flux. Now we can define this as, so this is magnetic flux through the small element. Now I am writing here magnetic flux through small element. So d phi can be written as B into dA cos theta. So that means now the area magnetic field lines which are passing normal to the surface area we need to take here. You know, area vector is nothing but normal direction only. So then B bar component you can take along the direction there, normal to that area. Or you can also express this in dot product, that means in vector form also you can write this as B bar dot dA bar, you can express here. So that, right? So this is the magnetic flux through the small element. So our mathematical definition we define in terms of the number of lines of force. So actually this we can define like this here. So just to mention that the magnetic flux passing through the given area can be defined as the number of magnetic field lines passing through the given area normal to it. Passing through the given area, normal to it. Mathematically it can be defined as the dot product of magnetic induction and area vector. Magnetic induction and area vector. Next, write this, the magnetic flux of the small element. We can write this as magnetic flux of the small element. So whenever both are involved in the problem, like electric flux and magnetic flux are involved in the problem, then we write like phi B and phi E, we differentiate that electric flux and magnetic flux. Otherwise, no need of writing that phi B, you may write, or you may just write it as phi. That indicates that flux there. And so now this is the magnetic flux of the small area. Now if you want to calculate the magnetic flux of the total area, right? If you want to find this total flux, so total flux, we can write this as phi is equal to integral of B bar dot dA bar. So this will be the total flux here. And so that now this can also be expressed this as sometimes that there may be case like that magnetic field is constant, that magnetic field and direction of both magnitude and direction of the magnetic field is constant in a given region, or we can say that as a uniform magnetic field. So in case of uniform magnetic field, that B value can be taken out here. So that means now that can be written as this B value, this phi value, we can write this as integral of B into A into cos theta, or dA into cos theta, we can write here. So that means if the field is uniform field, so then what we can write here is that magnetic field can be taken out here. Therefore, this flux value we can write this as B into dA cos theta, we can write. And then that value also we can write this expression as the theta value is also constant. Then uniform magnetic field means the direction also remains constant. So then you can take this outside there for a given surface, so that I can write this expression as BA cos theta, we can express here, right? So that is a magnetic flux in case of uniform magnetic field. So that means if magnetic field is uniform, then you can express this magnetic flux like this, right? So next, note that expression, and now you can write the general information regarding this magnetic flux as, so by this dot product formula, it is clear that this magnetic flux is a scalar quantity, like our electric flux. Electric flux is also a scalar quantity. And so now just mention this after this. Magnetic flux is a scalar. Magnetic flux is a scalar. And its unit is, the magnetic flux unit is Weber, represented with WB. And actually from this only we write the unit of magnetic induction as Weber per meter square. So that means while giving the units for this magnetic induction, we discussed the different units there, like Tesla and Weber per meter square. So both are SI units only, Weber per meter square. This is a SI unit of this magnetic flux here. So that means Weber per meter square and Tesla both are SI. So that means they are numerically equal. And then that is another, this means this B value now we can write as phi by A. So phi by A is nothing but Weber per meter square. Now you can write from that unit only. That means from this definition only we express that magnetic induction like that. And so next we can mention that this magnetic flux value can be a positive value, or it can be a negative, or it can be zero also, depending on this theta value there. So just to mention that magnetic flux can be positive or can be negative or can be zero also. That means simply we can say that if magnetic field direction is perpendicular to the plane, then you can say that magnetic flux you can take that value as maximum value. because now cos theta value, now you can take it as like 0 you can consider there. Like suppose I will consider a cube here, and for this cube I will express the magnetic flux through the different surfaces. So all this discussion is similar to that of our electric flux. So we are very well, that means we know very well about this magnetic electric flux calculation electrostatics there. Now this is such a similar concept, now we need to apply here. Suppose here I am taking this as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So now suppose I am taking a cube like this, it is placed in a uniform magnetic field, for example. Now this uniform magnetic field direction will be there like this here. The magnetic field direction will be there like this. So this is a uniform magnetic field here. That means it is entering this place. That means it is perpendicular to this ABCD face here, the uniform magnetic field. And so now from this what we can write is the flux passing through the different surfaces I can express here. That means these field lines are there here throughout. Just I am representing here. These field lines are there throughout this region here. And so now let us write the magnetic flux to the different surfaces so that you will get an idea how to take that values there. And you know very well about this area vector, how to take the area vector. In case of the closed surfaces, the area vector is always taken normal to the surface and in outward direction, right? The area vector is always taken normal to the surface and outward direction. Outward normal, the area direction is. And so now for the flux, magnetic flux through the surface A, B, C, D, right? That means now you may just mention that consider a cube is placed in a uniform magnetic field of induction B as shown. For this description here, consider a uniform magnetic field B is placed in a cube is placed in a uniform magnetic field of induction B. Then flux through the different surfaces can be written as. So now flux through the ABCD. Can you say the flux through the ABCD? B into A into, where A is area, A into the cos theta value. So that means now for this plane ABCD, the area vector will be along this direction here. The area vector is perpendicular to this. So this will be the direction of this area vector here for this face. So area vector will be along this direction and B bar is along this direction here. So they are opposite each other. So when they are opposite each other, I can write this angle as 180 degrees. So this is minus BA, right? That is a magnetic flux passing through that face. And whereas if I write for this face EFGH, so if I write the magnetic flux through the face EFGH, so that means that face if I write. So now we can observe that here the magnetic flux direction will be along this direction and area vector is also in the same direction here. Area is also now again outward normal. Outward normal means then towards right only you will get. So that this BA into cos 0 you will get. So that this expression is BA. And the next if I write magnetic flux to the different faces, like for example if I consider about this CDEF. So for this face if we consider, then area vector will be along this direction here. Or similarly for this face if I consider, area vector will be along this direction and B bar is along this direction. And for these two faces also, like ADEH, this face also. So simply you can write that whenever magnetic flux is parallel to the surface or parallel to the plane, then magnetic flux passing through that plane will be 0. So that we can conclude here. That means now it will be parallel to the total 4 faces we can say here in case of this cube. So one surface is like ADEF and other surface is like ABGH. Magnetic flux is tangential or parallel to the plane. And other surface we can say like ADEH and other surface is like BCFG. So those are the 4 planes through which that magnetic flux is 0. So that means now I can write this as magnetic flux through ABGH or the magnetic flux through CDEF, or the magnetic flux through The next phase what we can write here is ADEH, and the magnetic flux through BCEF, FG. So magnetic flux through those surfaces will be 0, we can write, because the angle is 90 degrees there. Therefore mention that whenever magnetic field is tangential to the plane or tangential to the surface, then flux passing through the surface will be 0. Flux passing through the surface will be 0. Right, and when it is entering the surface or leaving the surface, then it will be minus. That means minimum and maximum you will get along the, according to this here. When the flux is entering the surface here, then we are getting this as minus BA, and when it is leaving normally, then we are getting like this BA, right? So this is in case of the plane surfaces. If you are taking some curved surfaces, then angle may differ for different elements. Then you need to calculate in a different way. We will discuss some problems now based on this. So now let us see some flux calculations here, and this topic is majorly based on this flux calculations only. So that means in most of the problems we calculate that flux, and from that we do some remaining calculations there. So that means flux calculation is very important in this EMI topic here. And so next let us see this a flux calculation problem here. Suppose it is a infinite current carrying wire. Now a plane is placed parallel to this in the same plane. This is square loop here. So ABCD is a square loop placed in this plane, or you may consider it as some rectangular loop, whatever it may be. Then so I am taking this as a square loop of side L, or you may consider it as a rectangular loop also. There is no problem, just that values will change there finally while substituting. So this carries a current I. So just to mention that a square loop is placed, a square loop of side L is placed close to the long current carrying conductor carrying current I. Find the flux passing through the square loop. In that first question, A, when it is placed in the same plane of the wire, as shown in figure A, and when it is placed perpendicular to the plane containing the wire, as shown in the figure B. So that means now it will be lying like this here. That means this these two are perpendicular, so that this distance will be distance from this center of this plane is A. Let us consider here. So this distance is A, and this is carrying some current A. So this is our figure B. So perpendicular plane means, if suppose say this wire is here in this plane, now the plane is placed like this. The square plate or rectangular plane is placed like this. They are like this here. And so now that is the case here. So in both the cases we need to calculate this magnetic flux. So that means as we discussed in the previous discussion regarding the magnetic flux, so if the flux is magnetic field is uniform, you can write directly like BA cos theta formula, and if it is non-uniform, then we need to take a small element and then we should do the integration, right? So now here whether the field is uniform or non-uniform. So in the previous topic we discussed already like magnetic field produced by the wire is long wire is a non-uniform magnetic field which is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r, right, at a distance r from this wire. So that means now this will produce the magnetic field lines here like this. They are lines who are entering into the plane this side here. And so now those magnetic field is non-uniform, so we need to take a small element and we should integrate here. So for this in figure here I am taking this small integration like this here. So I am taking a small element. So let us take this element is at a distance of x and this width of this element is dx here. And so now let us write the magnetic flux passing through the small element. So that means now we are solving for the figure A. So that is magnetic flux. So magnetic flux passing through the small element, passing through small element. So this can be written as B into dA into cos 0 you may consider here. So only one plane is there, then that flux you may consider that as a positive, because then only for the plane surfaces area is our choice. Area direction in case of a closed surface like a cube or a sphere, I said the normal must be outward direction only. The area is always considered to be outward normal, along the outward normal. But in case of a plane surfaces, area of this you may consider out of the plane or you may consider into the plane here. So then just I am taking that as the area direction as into the plane, so that you can write this as BA cos 0 you can write. Just we are calculating the flux entering this plane here. And so now this value I can write this as d phi is equal to, now B means that is a magnetic field produced by this current carrying wire. So in the last class itself I said this, all these topics are interrelated. That means you can't conclude like the previous topic electromagnetism is completed and no need of remembering all those concepts in that. No. So every concept will be interrelated. We use all the concepts what we discuss in the electromagnetism in this topic also. And actually especially this topic electromagnetism is, we can say, it will be a very big concept. That means more applications will be there in this topic here. Whatever the concepts you learnt in physics till now, based on every concept here, problem may be there in electromagnetism topic. Such a big topic. In SHM there will be different applications of this SHM in different topics will be there, like in rotatory motion and in electrostatics and in elasticity properties of matters and solids and fluids. So similarly here the problems may be there related to link up by giving some link up with every concept of the different topics what we learned in 11th class and 12th class till now, right? And so that means such a big topic or big scope of application is there for this topic here. So you have to learn these concepts clearly. The basic concepts are very few concepts and you can understand them easily. So that you can solve all those applications there. So now let us see here. So now B means magnetic field due to this produced by this wire we need to write. So that formula we discussed in our previous topic. So the magnetic field is given by mu naught I by 2 pi r. So here that we are taking it as x. And dA means the area of this element you need to write. So this length is L we are taking and this width is dx we are taking here. So I can write that area is L into dx. And therefore this total flux now we need to write here. Therefore I can write this as mu naught I by 2 pi into L. The integral of dx by x you can write, and this varies from a to a plus L. The limits of this x, when it is here x is equal to a and this end is at x is equal to L, and therefore this phi is equal to, I can write this as mu naught I into L by 2 pi into, then this value is ln a plus L by a you can write. So that will be that magnetic flux here. So magnetic flux passing through that plane in this first case. So the first case calculation is easy when compared to that of the second case here, because here that area is, that means that only magnetic field is variable, but theta is a constant value, right? But in case of this, when you are considering this problem here, so the magnetic flux is, that means magnetic field is variable as well as the direction of the magnetic field is also variable here. Is the concept is, that means the situation is clear here. The wire is here, the wire is suppose say here, now the sphere is placed like this. So that this plane of the sphere is in this here and wire will be here. And so now that will be the situation there. So the magnetic flux is in different directions at the different points of the sphere. And so that now we need to take that small element, that means on the direction of the component of this magnetic field also we need to consider there. So I am taking this a square, a small element like this here. So this distance now we may consider this as x, right? So now to find the flux in this case, let us take the small element like this, and you need to understand the situation clearly here. So if I consider the small element here, like suppose I will draw the top view of this so that you can understand this easily here. So now I am taking like current is, when you are observing from the top, let us say current is flowing out of the plane like this. Now our sphere is like this. The top view of this sphere here, suppose say this is point A and point B, or top view means as we mentioned like A, B, C, let us consider here, or any letters you may consider there. B, C I am taking here. Now let us take the small element here. The element what I am representing is, that will be here like this. The element, suppose I am representing this small element like this here. This side let us take a small element here. Right, so this is say at a distance of x from the center of the square. This is the top side of this square. We are observing from the top like this. And so now the direction of magnetic field, here the current is flowing out here. When the current is flowing out, the magnetic field lines will be there like this. So the magnetic field lines will be there like this, right? And so then here the magnetic field will be perpendicular to this dotted line, and that magnetic field will be there along this direction here, B bar. Right. Now the area vector. Now the area vector there you may consider this as, suppose I am taking this area vector along this direction here, dA bar. Right. Now let us take a symmetrical element there. Symmetrical element means suppose this angle is theta here. Now at the same angle I am taking this another element this side here. Here this is the another symmetrical element at the same distance x from this center of the square. And so now there the magnetic field direction, can you decide the magnetic field direction there? So current is flowing out here. Current is flowing out means then here the field lines will be there like this, right? And so those field lines will be there. The magnetic field direction will be perpendicular to this line here. So this is our B bar. And so now the area for that already we consider like this. So as this also belongs to the same plane. So we need to take the area in the same direction here. For total plane, we need to take the area vector in the same direction. Here, this for this plane already we consider this like. So for this element also area we need to consider like this one. And so now let us identify the angle between B bar and dA bar here. So B bar and dA bar, if I consider this angle is theta, so I can consider this angle as theta. And so then this angle is 90 minus theta we can write. So this angle is 90 minus theta. And next similarly let us write the area angle between this B bar and dA bar in this case here, right? And so now these two are already perpendicular to each other. This line distance of the point from this wire and these two are perpendicular to each other here. And this angle you can say theta value, and so that this total angle will be, total angle between B bar and dA bar will be 90 plus theta you will get. Is it clear? And so now from this I can write this total flux as, so the flux through the element, now I can write this as, so net flux through small element. So net flux through small element you can write this as d phi net is equal to, so for the first one I am writing here B into dA into cos of 90 minus theta plus and flux due to this element, now I am writing here B into dA into cos of 90 plus theta, and therefore this net flux, I can write this as net flux through that resultant of those two elements, B into dA into sin theta. So cos of 90 plus theta you will get, you know the cos of 90 plus theta is nothing but minus sin theta. So then minus B into dA into sin theta you will get, and so that this net flux will be equal to 0, we can write. So that means if the sphere is placed like this, then net flux is 0 there. That means the flux is whatever the same amount of flux entering at one side of the sphere that comes out of the sphere from the other side. That means you can represent, if you are taking such a sphere top view there, you can understand that easily like this. Suppose this is the current carrying conductor what we are taking here. And let us take this is the sphere plane. Top view of the sphere plane again I am representing here, right? So now you know, if you are drawing these field lines around this here, so this current is flowing out of the plane, means this current carrying conductor here, we are taking this current is flowing out. So flowing out means then the circles you will get like this, right? So that means now the this field lines you will get like this. So if a field line is entering this side here, if a field line is for example entering this side, the next field line, one of the field line entering this side, if I consider, that field line definitely should come out, that means it should come from the other side of this square here. Like suppose if this field lines are entering like this here, some field line is entering here, so this field line should come out, should come again back from the same square plane like that, right? So that means because of that reason it will be 0 here. That means I can say, if suppose this is the plane what we are taking and this is the current carrying conductor if I consider, right? So now the magnetic field lines will be around this circle will be there. So suppose here half of this sphere we are dividing into two halves like this, right? So we are dividing this into two halves. And so now if the from one side if the line is entering this side and from the other side it will go back here, because it is a complete circle, it is a part of the circle here. So from one side of the square, for one half of the square, the field lines will enter, and from the other half they will go back there, and so that the net flux passing through that square in that case will be 0, right? And so there is no net flux passing through that plane here. But whereas in the from this we can conclude that the total flux passing through the entire square is also 0 there. Now whereas in this only they will give some slightly different problem, like different problem is only half we need to calculate here, or they will give the problem like this. So let us write such a problem there. So only that that sphere is placed on the one side of this conductor there, then in that case you can calculate this magnetic flux easily. That means it will be a non-zero flux will be there in that case. So non-zero flux means that case we can represent like this. Suppose say this is our x-axis and y-axis and z-axis. Right, now this current carrying conductor is parallel to the z-axis here. So carrying some current say I, and now this is our rectangular loop here. So this side you may consider this as so this side is width W or B, let us consider here this side, and this side is, let us take this as A or L, and this distance let us take this as x is equal to A here. This distance is, that means this distance will be equal to A. So now in that case we need to calculate this flux passing through that square plate there. So now write this problem there. Now it is similar to that, only half calculation now we need to do there, because now only this wire, that means the square is only on the one half of one side of this total current carrying conductor. So write that a current carrying conductor, a long current carrying conductor is placed parallel to the z axis, at x is equal to a, find flux passing through the a rectangular plane lying in yz plane as shown in figure. Right? Now with this concept, now we can solve this easily here. That means now only one side now we need to consider here. Only like suppose field lines are entering this side here, then this part is not there simply. So that that integration now we need to write for the small element, and then we need to write the integration of that small element there. So like suppose I am taking this a small element here, I am taking here. So this is a small element what we are taking here at a distance of y from this, and this is dy. And so now we need to identify the distance of this. So that means there you will get a triangle there. This is what I am representing here. So I can represent this triangle like this. This is one side which is A, and this is another side which is Y, and this is the third side here. So let's suppose this side I am taking it as R. So that means there the right angle triangle you will get like this. The right angle triangle is Y, and this is A, and this is our R. So A, Y, and this is R, you will get like this. Therefore that R value you can write this as under root of A square plus Y square you can write, right? And so now this magnetic field will be perpendicular to this direction you will get here. That means perpendicular to this R bar you will get there, the magnetic field direction. So again I will draw such a top view so that you can understand that easily there. So that means now here our current carrying conductor is there like this. Now this pair plane is only this side here, or the rectangular plane. So only that one side it will be there. So now what we are taking is this one element we are taking like this. So this is the element what we are taking here. This is A and this is Y. So that this we are representing it as R. And so now the field line, suppose say here current is flowing out of the plane here. When current is flowing out of the plane, the magnetic field direction you may represent there. The magnetic field direction will be, the field lines will be there like this, right? And so that means here the field lines will be there, magnetic field lines will be there along this direction here. So that means along the direction is perpendicular to that R. So that field lines will be perpendicular to that R, you will get like this. So this is our B bar direction there. And so now area vector direction you may consider like this, dA. And so now you can write the flux passing to the small element. That element is the top view of this element we are drawing there. So that flux passing to the small element you can write and you can integrate there. So I can write this expression as flux through small element. So d phi is equal to B into dA into cos theta you may consider here. Like suppose here I am taking like this angle, I am assuming it as theta here, right? So if that angle is theta, then you can consider this angle as this angle is 90 minus theta. So this angle will be 90 minus theta you will get. Angle between A bar and dA bar, that means B bar and dA bar. So now in this formula, this cos of 90 minus theta we need to substitute here. Is it clear? That means BA cos theta, actually we need to write that theta means angle between B bar and dA bar here. So here in this, according to our assumption, you may assume this as theta, then automatically this angle you will get that as theta. There is no any problem there. If you are getting confusion in this, you may take assumptions like this also. So you may take assumption this as theta here. So if you are automatically this angle will be theta you will get. So then you can write our usual formula as cos theta you can write there. So just you need to identify that as angle between B bar and dA bar you need to write whatever it may be. It may be theta or 90 minus theta or cos theta, whatever phi, whatever it is, angle between B bar and dA bar we need to write. And so next here what we can write there is B expression I am substituting here, the magnetic field mu naught I by 2 pi r. So 2 pi r into dA. The dA value we can substitute by using this. So that means this length is L and this width is dy we are taking there. So L into dy. L into dy and cos theta, because here theta value is variable here. If you are taking one element here you will get one expression, and if you are taking another element here you will get another expression, and if you are taking for example here you will get another expression there. So theta is also variable there, and so now we need to substitute that cos theta value also, and accordingly according to this figure you can substitute that cos theta value as y by adjacent side by r you can write, and therefore this d phi is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi into this value is y into dy by r square. R square means you can substitute here. This is a square plus y square. And so to find the total flux you can integrate this expression here. So this will be mu naught I by 2 pi into integral of y into dy by a square plus y square, right? And so now you can write this y varies from 0 to b here. So that means 0 to b. This is a y variation here. So then integrate that, simplify that integration, and then you will get this answer for this, right? So that means that is the difference between that problem and this problem here. If square is placed only on one side, you will get a non-zero flux. In this problem also, if this square extends this side also, then you can answer that net flux is 0. And now such a similar another problem is there here. So let us see now that problem there. That means simply they will ask like on the one side of this inside the magnetic flux passing inside a current carrying conductor. Like suppose here I will take a current carrying conductor like this, a cylindrical current carrying conductor here. So this is cylindrical current carrying conductor. So let us take this is the axis of this cylindrical current carrying conductor here. Now we need to calculate this flux passing through this a square plane like this. It's a long current carrying conductor, so flux passing through this half we need to calculate here when I is the current flowing through that, right? So write down that data there. A current I is flowing through a long cylindrical conductor such that it is distributed uniformly. R is the radius of the conductor. Then consider a plane in the diametric. Consider a plane as shown in the figure. That means this is the plane here. Consider a plane as shown in the figure in the diametric plane of the conductor. Then find flux passing through the half of this diametric plane, flux passing through the half of the diametric plane as shown in figure. Flux passing through the half of the diametric plane as shown in the figure. So is it clear? In a cylinder, we are suppose if you cut that cylinder into along the diameter, if you cut the cylinder along the diameter, you will get the two plane surfaces, right? So in that we are taking half of the plane, and in that we are calculating the magnetic flux passing through that half of the plane like this. So now if you are taking the complete plane, then it is similar to that of our previous problem. And now this problem is similar to that of this. It means similar to means it's a non-zero flux will be there. If you are taking a complete plane, then flux will be zero. And so now here how that flux is passing through that plane means now we know in case of a cylindrical solid conductor, there will be magnetic field inside the conductor also, right? We derived an expression by using this Ampere's law in the previous topic. So that means that formula is mu naught I by 2 pi r square into small r, you can write there. We derived that expression, or in terms of current density, you can write that as mu naught by 2 into j bar cross r bar. Magnetic field inside the current carrying conductor. So now such a concept now we need to apply here. So the magnetic field lines, you know, that magnetic field lines are concentric circles around this here. So those magnetic field lines or concentric circles inside this also magnetic field will be there. So suppose if current is flowing out of the plane, for example, if current is say flowing out of the plane, and so then these field lines will be there like this. The field lines directions will be there like this, right? So concentric field lines will be there throughout this conductor. And so now the magnetic flux we need to calculate here. So the magnetic flux passing through the one half of this diametric plane. So half of the diametric plane means now I am taking a small element like this. So you can consider the small element here. So I will rub those lines so that you can understand that easily. So now here I am taking at a distance of small r from the center here, and this width is, let us take this as dr. So this is a small element now we are taking here. So now can you say the angle between area vector and this that element there? So field lines or concentric circles here, the concentric circles you will get, and so then here the magnetic field will be perpendicular to this plane only will get there, because the magnetic field are entering perpendicular to that plane. If you cut this cylinder into two halves, the field lines will enter perpendicular to that plane. And so then clearly easily what we can write is flux passing through the small element. Flux passing through the small element. So that flux we can write this as d phi is equal to B into dA into cos 0, because here as I said the area also you can take perpendicular to that plane, and these field lines are also entering into this entering perpendicular to that plane. And so now these lines what we can write here is this B value, what we can write is that B is a magnetic field inside the conductor at a distance of r from this. So inside the conductor at a distance of r means mu naught I by 2 pi r you can write. And then area of this element, this width we are taking as dr here, this width we are taking as dr, and this length let us take it as L. So then I can write this as L into dr and the cos 0. And therefore this total flux what you can write here is mu naught I into L by 2 pi into integral of dr by r. So integral of dr by r, so you can write this as 0 to r, right? And so therefore that expression you can write this as mu naught I into L by 2 pi into, so this side you can write this expression as, sorry, this expression we mentioned wrong here. This is inside the formula we need to substitute there, right? So inside formula is into r by r square you will get. So that expression you need to write. Magnetic field inside. So the magnetic field inside the formula is mu naught I by 2 pi r square into small r you need to write. As I said, mu naught by 2 into j into r. J is nothing but I by pi r square. So that is a formula here. So then these constants you can write outside, then you will get this expression. And so then this is nothing but we can write this as r square by 2. The integration of this r square by 2 you will get, And so therefore this flux you can write this as phi is equal to mu naught I into L by 4 pi you will get, that r square term will be cancelled. And generally for this problem they will ask like magnetic flux per unit length they will ask. So magnetic flux per unit length is phi by L is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi you can write. So that will be the magnetic flux per unit length passing through that plane. So again, as similar to our previous plane, when the square plane is placed symmetrically, we got the flux is 0. So if similarly in this, if I consider like this plane also, this half also if I consider here, then if I ask the magnetic flux passing through this complete diametric plane, so you may mention that point also, this is only for half of the diametric plane. The magnetic flux passing through the half of the diametric plane or one side of this diametric plane, one side of the axis of the diametric plane. And if you are taking this half here, now we can easily identify the directions here. So if you are taking this plane, here the these field lines are crossing the plane like this in upward direction, let us consider, and here those field lines will come down here. So that means here we can say that here these are entering and here these are coming out here. So that net flux passing through this complete diametric plane will be 0. That previous square problem also we got the 0 because of this reason only. These lines will enter here and from one half of the square and they will come out of the other half of the square plane there in the previous problem also. So that we got that 0 value. So for this also finally mention that if you consider the complete that means the flux passing through the complete diametric plane will be, the flux passing through the complete diametric plane will be 0. Right? And so now in this way we need to calculate this flux here. B value we need to write according to that given expression. And so then in some cases B value and theta value may be variable like in our previous square problem. And in some cases only B value is variable, theta value may be constant like this. So just we need to write when any of that is variable, either B value or theta value or both are variable, first we need to write the magnetic flux through a small element and then we need to write the we need to integrate that according to our by substituting that theta expression or cos theta or sin theta expression in the according to the given problem, and then by substituting the variation of this B value. Just by integrating that you can get this magnetic flux. And sometimes they will give like by a solenoid, inside a solenoid or outside the solenoid they will place some ring. Then they will ask the magnetic flux passing through that ring. Then inside means magnetic flux due to the solenoid formula also you need to remember here mu naught Ni, right, where N is the number of turns per unit length. And in solenoid you also discussed you also need to remember like if suppose this is the solenoid, if you are taking for example here inside the solenoid only the B is equal to mu naught Ni. And if I consider this outside the magnetic field, outside magnetic field is not there. But if suppose some ring is placed like this is the cross section of this is the solenoid here for example, and if the ring is placed outside here, right, like this. Now the flux passing through this ring means suppose I am taking this small radius is smaller and this radius of the ring as capital R which is placed outside. Then flux passing through this ring placed outside means then B into pi r square we need to write here. B into pi small r square, because inside this circle of radius capital R there is magnetic flux, but that magnetic flux is confined only within the solenoid only, within the cross section of the solenoid only. So that you should not write capital pi r square, you should not write there. And where that B is given by mu naught Ni into r square pi r square you need to write here. Got it? Magnetic flux outside is 0. Outside is 0 means it doesn't mean that no magnetic flux is passing through the area of the circle of radius capital R. Only magnetic flux is passing. I will draw this cross section view like this. So that means this is small r radius and this is capital R radius. Now the flux passing through this ring they are asking here, outer ring they are asking here, right? And we know the magnetic field outside this ring will be 0. But magnetic field will be there inside the solenoid. Inside the solenoid means this cross section here. This cross section magnetic field is there, which is given by our general formula mu naught Ni. So that what I am saying here is, if suppose magnetic field is passing into the plane, for example here that magnetic flux, then magnetic flux passing through this entire circle means that is equal to the magnetic flux passing through only this area we need to write here. If flux is passing through any part of that given diagram, that part we need to write here. No need of flux passing through the entire circle. So even though there is no flux passing through the entire circle, but you should not put you should not write the magnetic flux passing through this circle, capital circle of radius capital R as 0. You should write magnetic flux passing through this one, circle of radius capital R as this one, because flux is confined in this area. So only that area we will consider here. Flux is passing through whatever the area it is confined. So that area we need to consider here. So B into that area we need to write here. So in case of solenoid, you need to remember this point. You should not write that value as 0, right? If suppose the solenoid is of radius capital R, and if you are placing a ring small r here, if you are reversing this, suppose if solenoid is current is flowing in the solenoid here. Now this is a small r is placed, a small ring of small r is placed here. Now if I ask the flux passing through this ring, then flux passing through that ring means, then you can write this as B into pi r square, you can write here. So that means now flux is there now in this area also, but we need the flux passing through only this area here. So that in that area magnetic field into pi r square you need to write there, right? So that in these two cases you will get the magnetic flux passing through the ring as the same value, whether the radius is capital or smaller. So don't confuse that. So understand that easily here. If flux is passing through only this area, then magnetic flux passing through this total area will be equal to the flux passing through this area only, simply, right? So if solenoid is outside and if the ring is placed here, solenoid is of radius capital R and small ring we are placing there, and ring radius is smaller if I consider there, then flux passing through that area means then we need to write pi into r square only. So that means this area is confined with the magnetic flux there. Outside is also flux is there, but we need only magnetic flux passing through this area here. So then only that area we need to write there, right? So that is in case of solenoid also such a problems will be there, like that we need to calculate. And in this topic only this magnetic flux is the basic calculation required for that. The total problem is not only magnetic flux calculation, it is a basic requirement to solve the problems there. So if you understand this, then you can solve these EMI problems easily, and I will discuss that basic laws of EMI in the next class. That means we call that as Faraday's law and Faraday's laws to find the magnitude, and then we define the Lenz law to find the direction of this magnetic field there, induced EMF there, right? Thank you.